What's up, guys? So, 2 weeks ago, I made a post on YouTube saying that I'd review Superman, and the deed has been done. Now, you guys are probably wondering one question. Is this movie finally what is going to save the DC universe? The answer to that question is yes. It is that and a bit more as well. But I'll get into that in a second. Before we get into the movie, though, there was one thing that I did notice, and this, in a way, I'd say is positive. It's kind of a good, refreshing feeling, if you know what I mean. Throughout this film, aside from John Cena, who played the Peacemaker in his respective show, of course, and the Suicide Squad, there weren't really any notable actors that you've seen like in mainstream media. Say, for example, like Henry Cavill. He's been seen in quite a bit of films. Same for Ben Affleck. Like you'll see him in The Accountant, which by the way, The Accountant 2 came out. Go watch that. It's actually pretty good. Um, and some other actors, but aside from that, you don't really see any mainstream actors here, so that's pretty good. I feel like what James Gunn is doing here is pretty nice to see all around the table because we're getting new actors, and it's kind of like that feeling you have back when in 2012 when the MCU was starting to like take shape and we'd get these solo films like Captain America. We also had the Fantastic Four, which wasn't the best thing in the world, but hey, it was fun. And also other films like The Incredible Hulk, which obviously we got a new actor for him later on. But overall, yeah, I like that feeling of being able to see a new actor and be like, oh yeah, I kind of like that guy. He's pretty cool. Now, since this movie came out quite recently, and obviously there's going to be a lot of people who want to see it, I'll do my best to avoid as many spoilers as possible, or like keep out the most important stuff. So be warned, if you're worried about me spoiling 1 millisecond of the movie and ruining your entire life, then leave now, Traveler, because this is not the destination for you to head to. Alright, there you have it. But anyways, I hear you guys. I hear you. So I'm gonna stop yapping and get on to the real talk here. So pretty much the movie starts off with the introduction of Superman and how he got to planet Earth, all that good stuff. And right off the bat, we see Superman getting whooped harder than me when I forget to do my laundry. Now, this is a pretty different take on Superman than what I've seen other directors, especially Zack Snyder of all people, do. But in a way, it kind of like helps shape out his more human side. Because as you'll notice in the film, Superman does get beat up a lot. And I mean a lot. Though at the same time, it helps us see what kind of man this version of Superman is trying to be. He's a guy who came to Earth, he's trying to live his best life, and he goes into fights that he knows he himself may not even win. But at the end of the day, he does all of this to protect the people that he cares about, the people of Earth, the animals even. It happens in one scene I'll explain later, but anyways, he does all of this to protect the people that he loves, even when they've turned their back on him, because he knows that at the end of the day, it's the right thing to do. And throughout this film, you can sort of see him slowly become like that symbol of hope that helps everyone carry on, even when the world is beginning to crumble away. Specifically, there are two parts in this movie that I think do a really good job of conveying that part of Superman's character into the film. The first of which is where Superman's fighting this kind of like kaiju thing. I think it's in the trailer. But anyways, he's fighting it, and mid-battle, there's this squirrel that's in the road, and it's going to be hit by one of the particles or like concrete. So Superman, he gets it out of the way, he looks at it, and he asks if it's okay, and then proceeds to continue fighting. Now, I really like this scene because even though it seems a bit goofy at first, it really helps show the kind of person that Superman is and wants to be every day. Like, he's a loving and caring guy, and he's trying to do best he can for everyone. He even wants to save the monster in that scene. I'm not really going to go too much into detail on what happens, but I'll let you guys watch the film and find out. Now, as for the second scene I want to mention, I'm not really going to go too much into detail because that would kind of like spoil the movie for you guys, but I'll do the best I can. So, in summary, what happens is that we're kind of like in the aftermath of like a battle, and Clark Kent and Lois Lane are in a room and they're discussing the aftermath of the scene. And throughout this part, you can kind of like tell that Superman didn't really care about breaking law because that's one of the questions he was asked if he went beyond his like jurisdiction. And he's like, "No, I don't care because there were people's lives at stake." You can tell he doesn't care about which side is being hurt. He just wants to help them out the best way that he can, and that I think really it really helps out his character a lot in this film. Now, as for the rest of the film, there were a lot of things I liked about it. Throughout the film, pretty much the plot is that Superman, it's pretty much any comic scenario between Lex Luthor and Superman. Lex Luthor, by the way, he's an absolute D1 hater. I gotta say, I freaking loved his performance as Lex Luthor. I thought he played the character the best that he could, and that's exactly what we got. You can tell. Now, as for the rest of the cast, we got Lois Lane. She was a good fit too. Superman's appearance, really underrated pick. They did the job really solidly. Everyone else, I thought Lois's assistant in the Daily Planet was pretty funny too. He was a nice pick as well. I've never seen him in the comics, but I do hope he comes back, I guess. Um, as for the rest of the special effects, I gotta say they absolutely nailed the tone. Comic Superman is back better than ever, and you can really see how much detail they put in everything. It looks bright, cartoonish, and you gotta love it. Also, another thing to mention, the added music and soundtrack for this film, made specifically by James Gunn himself. I honestly thought it was pretty cool overall. Interesting picks. Not all of them were as good as the others, but overall they left a pleasing feel in my head after that. So yeah, I'd say the music was pretty fun as well, pretty energetic, action packed, but also a bit retro in some aspects. Now earlier I said Superman gets beat up a ton, and it is true, but hear me out, guys. When he does lock in this film, when he gives it his all, man oh man, dude, things get crazy. Because Optimus Prime in the Bayverse, even though a lot of his losses were due to jumpings, man, has he had it rough. But when he gets serious, he's about to claim some freaking skulls. So overall, I'd say I like the movie. There were some things that could have been done a bit better, but hey, it's a great start to this new universe for DC, and I'm pretty glad to see it, and I'm pretty excited to see what comes out next. So if I was dragged into a cartel and they told me I had to rate this film, or I would be executed on the spot, I'd probably give it around like a 8.5 to 9 at most. Though before I head back into the Shadow Realms where I crawled from, there was something I wanted to address. A sort of specimen, if you will, that's been walking around these streets and giving this movie a bad name. I like to call this interesting creature a Snyder Man. I've seen a lot of them around the YouTube comment section hating on people saying that they like the Superman movie. Very interesting. I don't know why they hate it. I guess they're just doing what Snyder fans always do because they don't have anything better than just to sit on their computer like a Reddit moderator and just hate on everyone. I guess I don't know. Because I swear these people are throwing literally every reason that they can out the window just to have a decent take on the film, which by the way, decent is taking this very lightly because it's quite literally the opposite you can get from decent. I don't even know how they do this. You know, they should actually be rewarded. They should get they should get an award for this. I don't know, man. If they keep this up at this rate, they're just gonna overshadow Lex Luthor. They're gonna take Lex Luthor's job. I mean, man, heck, if I didn't know any better, I would say that these are the monkeys from the movie that Lex Luthor has. constantly hating on Superman. Are we sure they're just not bots or something like that? Because calling the movie woke is actually wild. I don't know what to say, but pardon my rambling. That's gonna be about it for today. If y'all like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe for more. Hit that thumbs up button. Help me out in this channel. I have a Discord if y'all want to go down in the link below. Check it out. Have some fun. I might appear there. I might not. You'll just have to see, I guess. I don't know, man. Well, love y'all. See you soon. Bye.